Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our city council meeting will be starting in 1 minute. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our city council meeting will be starting in 1 minute.
With the addition of back-end and
This regular meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk Norris, would you call the roll?
Mayor Pollan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
here.
Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
Okay, the gang's all here. Please add under approval of agenda, add item 15B, which is the 9-mile redesign kickoff presentation by Colton Dale. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, the consent agenda. These are routine items that are presented without discussion. A, regular council meeting minutes of October 7th, 2019. B, notice that the Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission amended their bylaws to reflect a new meeting time of 7:00 p.m. C, request to approve payment of invoice 192104 from G2 Consulting Group for material testing on the 9-mile road diet project for the total amount of $8,320.76. D, request to approve payment of invoices from OHM Advisors for bridge enhancements, safe routes to school preliminary engineering, 9-mile road diet construction engineering, AMP GIS support and architecture and engineering for the court project for the total amount of $113,385.50. E, request to approve payment application number 9 for the 2018 45th District Court renovation project M684 to Frank Rewald & Sons Incorporated for the amount of $35,591.44. F, Parks and Recreation Commission meeting minutes of June 19th, 2019, July 17th, and September 18th. Finally, licenses, new and renewals submitted for October 23rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. Any elected officials? Seeing none, we move on to special recognition and presentations. We welcome David DeCoster for a water quality presentation. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. Put together a quick presentation, just kind of giving an update on our lead and copper sampling that we conducted this past summer. So in June of 2018, the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy revised the lead and copper rules. In brief, these revisions included the following: the frequency of the sampling, the method of the sampling, the number of sampling sites required, asset management requirements for water systems, and plans to eliminate lead service lines over the next 20 years. Per these new lead and copper rules, the City of Oak Park sampled 30 sites between June and September of 2019. Of the 30 sites sampled, 10 homes tested above the lead action level of 15 parts per billion. The action level is not a health-based standard, but a level that triggers additional actions be taken. This action level exceedance is not a violation of the Michigan Safe Water Drinking Act. So once we got all our samples, got all our results, we sent our report to the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy earlier this month. So what have we done since the sampling? We've notified all the residents of their individual results. We've provided communications throughout the community. We've issued a public advisory to the community. We've issued a project to begin the replacement of our known private lead service lines. And it's important to note that our historical records show that we could have approximately 300 to 350 of these throughout the city. And we are actively checking homes to determine what material those private lead service lines are. So as we move forward, you may have heard we have an open house tomorrow here at City Hall from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. At that meeting, we'll have representatives from the state of Michigan, Oakland County, as well as the City of Oak Park on call here to answer any questions you may have. We'll also be scheduling those appointments, like I mentioned, to check your home for lead or copper services. Oakland County will be administering a program to disperse lead filters if you qualify for them, and I'll get into more of that later. Public education materials will be sent to all of our water customers in the next month or so. We're going to continue sampling homes throughout 2020. Like I mentioned, we're going to remove all those private lead services throughout the City of Oak Park. It's going to be a large undertaking, but we're confident we can take care of that. Lastly, if you do think you have a private lead service line, you can call our water department at 248-691-7470 and schedule an appointment around your schedule, and we'll send a water technician out to your home to check that for you.
So if someone is not sure, they should call your department,
Absolutely. It would actually be the water department.
the water
Yeah,
department.
and they'll schedule that, and we'll send a technician out to your home.
And you'll check whether it's a lead line or not?
Correct. We'll go in the basement or the crawl, whatever it is, and we'll check that line coming in up to the meter. If we determine it's lead, we distribute information at time what precautions to take, and kind of give you our next set of plans. We'll get you on a list of homes that do have that lead service, and our intention is, like I said, to replace those private lead service lines.
And what if you just want your water tested? How would you go about doing that?
So part of that information that we've dispersed, it's on our website, it's in the public advisory, it's in the information we give our homeowners. There is a list of state-certified labs on there, and you can click on that link or go to their website, and they have a list of state-certified labs that can do that work for you.
City Manager Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Dave, first of all, I don't know if a lot of the people in the audience know Dave, but Dave is our Deputy Director of our Department of Public Works. And Dave, thank you so much for all your hard work and our staff's hard work. I don't know how many of you have seen the Channel 7 report that was done a few days ago, but I was extremely proud of the hard work and great work that you guys are doing. I wanted to just reiterate something you said, because I think it's you went over it really quickly, but I think it's extremely important to note. And that is that we think the entire universe of possible private lead service lines in our city is somewhere between 3 and 350 homes. That's out of 11,000 housing units in our community. Of that number, the 3 to 350, we think that it's possible that, let's say, a third of those or more could be lead service lines. And what he said, and something that City Council has approved and committed to, and as have I, is very important, which is that we are going to identify those out of that list and then go forward and pay and have the work done to remove those private lead service lines. And so these are the lines that go from the water box that you'll see in your yard into your home. And the reason I wanted to stress this is because traditionally that has been the portion of the water service line, and many of you already know this, that we have not touched, and nor do we have a legal responsibility for until now. And so it's a big deal. So if you think you have a lead service line, as Dave mentioned, please make sure that you call our water department, and that is in his department, and we'll come out and check and verify that and go forward. I think we're targeting identification of all of these lead service lines by the end of 2019,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
And then we're looking at 2020, 2021 in terms of getting all of them removed. And we think that that's going to bring our community uniquely, by the way, as a leader around the metro area certainly, but the state too, as one of the few communities that can say, as far as we know, at that point, we'll be 100% lead-free. That's a big deal. And we're setting a high standard there, and we know that. So, again, I just wanted to thank you, but I wanted to make sure that people knew those pieces of information.
Okay, thank you. Actually, Steve Kreider is here with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. He also has a small presentation for us. His is going to deal with sequential sampling and health effects of lead and filtering. So he's going to provide a small presentation as well. Also, if you do have additional questions after that, we have Leanne Stafford from Oakland County and Jenny Bolt from the state of Michigan as well, if you have questions after. I do want to stress all these same groups will be here tomorrow for the open house. Well, everybody will be on site. We'll be answer any questions that anybody has.
Madam Mayor?
Yes,
If I could just make a comment really quick. My house is actually one of the houses with a lead line. I got so lucky. And I did not know. I had a home inspection done. It was not brought to my attention. I found out the same reason, the way many of our residents found out when the city came out and said, we are investigating these lead lines, and we went and checked. And I actually, Paul from the water department was at my house today, checked my line and confirmed that it is a lead line. And so I just want to compliment him and everyone working for the city, because he was great. He said that you guys are doing them like 15-minute increments because there are so many people who are calling. But just as a heads up, because I didn't know what the process was, and I just want to confirm. So they're coming and checking if you have a lead line, and if you have a lead line, they're then scheduling an appointment to come and check your water, because it has to sit dormant for 6 hours before they actually test it. So just so people are aware of that.
So one of the things to know, you're talking about the sampling.
The sampling, yes.
Just keep in mind the sampling, our next round of sampling won't be until 2020. Right now, we're
Okay.
focusing on the inventory, and we'll be moving into 60 sampling sites starting next year.
Okay.
But you're correct, it does need to sit dormant. You can't clean out aerators and things. There are certain specifications that we have to meet in order to test it.
Thank you.
So this is
Dave,
Steve
can I
Kreider
ask you
from-
one question?
yeah.
Steve will be here tomorrow, right?
I will, or one of my staff will be.
I just wanted to say, I spoke with Steve for about 10 minutes before the meeting tonight, and I learned more in 10 minutes than I ever thought was possible. I could fit into this tiny brain of mine. So thank you very much. And if people want to contact you and have some of the same questions I did, are you going to provide, you're going to provide
My
that?
number's right at the end of the presentation.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, once again, Steve Kreider with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Drinking Water Investigation Unit. Wanted to just take a few moments to just brief you on what's going on from state health's perspective on the lead action level exceedance. We're partnering with Oakland County, who is distributing filters that we're able to provide at state health. And so with that, I do have the requirements for filter distribution. Just want to go through those. You must meet both of these. You receive water from City of Oak Park. You haven't got a water filter from us before. You have a child in the house that's 18 years of age or younger, or a pregnant woman, and you have financial need. We're not able to give it to every pregnant woman or child on the system, but we do make the recommendation that any pregnant woman or child on the system use a filter while we're in this period of the action level exceedance, because we don't, we think we have everything under control right now, but it's a matter of understanding that conditions can change while the system is being tweaked, and so just that added level of protection. We recommend that all citizens flush for at least 5 minutes that have the lead service line, or if you don't know what your lead service line status is. And so we do attend events like this, we do the outreach, we help with awareness, and we also have accessibility.
Is the flushing every time you use the water, or just in the morning because it's been sitting in the pipes all night?
Anytime the water's been stagnant for 6+ hours, if you have a lead service line, you should flush for at least 5 minutes. And then in the individual tap that you didn't flush from, you should run that until it's cold. So if you were in your bathroom in the morning getting ready, you could flush at that sink for 5 minutes, or you could take your shower, and then you could then flush that sink until it's cold. But then when you went down to make your coffee at the kitchen sink, you would want to run that kitchen sink until it was cold. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So one of the things that my staff does that goes above and beyond the sampling requirements for the city is we will be working with your Public Works Department to identify houses in the area where we can go out and do what's called sequential sampling, where my staff will come out at no expense to the city and do first draw samples at kitchen faucets, bathroom faucets, and then do sequential 1-liter samples. We're doing this for 2 main reasons. One reason is to help us make sure we're identifying the source of lead, and that it is truly just a fixture, interior plumbing, or lead service line issue, and that there's not something strange going on in the distribution system. Secondly, we want to confirm that 5 minutes is enough flushing time. You'll notice that Michigan is different than every other state right now in recommending at least 5 minutes statewide. And that's because of work that we've done in other communities to find that the 3 to 5 minutes recommended federally doesn't always get you to the point of having that reduced lead water. And so that's why, as the state of Michigan, we've worked with our partners at Eagle to make that change and to help make sure we're reducing the amount of lead as much as we can. So some of the samples we've done in other communities, the 3 examples I will show you are 3 different houses, all with lead service lines in a community in West Michigan. And so the sequential sampling will tell us, let me turn the laser pointer on. So the sampling tells us here that this is a faucet issue because we have this spike and then it drops off. Different house, same system. We just had the spike in the first in liters 2 and 3. That's an interior plumbing issue at this home. Even though they had a lead service line, their lead service line was okay, had the corrosion control was okay on it, but their interior plumbing was the issue. And here this represents the lead service line concern, which is what, got your name already? Dave. Sorry, Dave. What Dave was talking about earlier. And so those are the 3 main sources of lead in a home that can happen, and that's why we say, regardless of service line type, while we're in this AL condition, you should use a filter as that added layer of protection if you are a pregnant woman or have children under the age of 18 in the home. So what all of us can do to reduce our lead, flushing. Flushing is a very effective way to reduce your lead. Use the filter as we've talked about. Clean your aerators. The aerator is that little part on the bottom of the faucet. It comes off, and cleaning those, State Health recommends at least every 6 months you do that. If there's going to be a large disruption because we're replacing service lines, we'd recommend monthly cleaning in those areas, just so that residents, in case construction work is causing disturbances in the area, they get those aerators off and cleaned. And there's step-by-step guidelines that we've shared with Oak Park, and I think may be posted on your website or could be on Oakland County's website, I know for sure, that can tell residents how to do that. And we have that in multiple languages as well. Another key thing is don't use hot water for drinking or cooking. And this is not like a boil water advisory for bacteria. Boiling the water actually concentrates the lead to some extent. So boiling water doesn't remove lead. So just in case you have citizens talking to you about what should I do about lead in my water, use cold flushed filtered water, and don't use the hot water for cooking or for the other thing, one of the main reasons I also like to come out is the largest source of lead is not lead in drinking water. It is lead-based paint in homes built before 1974. It is lead in the soil or lead dust. And so those are the main sources. That we do have a whole website where we've combined multiple departments at DHHS into one website to try to make it your one-stop shopping for lead information, and that's at michigan.gov/MILeadSafe. And then here's contact information for my department. It's a 1-800 number for the Drinking Water Investigation Unit. If you have health questions, we do have toxicologists you can talk to. If you are one of the residents we've contacted to do sequential sampling, that's where they can call back and schedule an appointment if we've left information at their house. We try to spread those out around the city to get a good understanding of the whole system. With that, I'll entertain questions, and I know I have 2 associates from Eagle that would also entertain questions if you have questions for the state.
Does anybody have any questions?
Can I ask a question? And I want to thank you again. Great job. This is for you, Steve. One thing I thought was fascinating, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but I was hoping you could speak a little bit about the state of Michigan. I mean, obviously, we're here in Metro Detroit, and we're a little Detroit-centric here, but in the state of Michigan, the standard we're trying to achieve is going to be the best in the nation in terms of water quality, correct?
We have the most aggressive sampling that I've seen in the country. I don't think anyone's beating us yet. I know EPA's got some recommendations, but they're not there. Is that correct, Jenny?
Yeah. So my name is Jenny Bolt. I'm with the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. I'm the lead and copper specialist for the unit. Michigan recently revised its rules in 2018 and took a step, more progressive step than most of the other states in the nation. We've changed our sampling methodology. We've refocused our sampling to solely focus on these sites with lead service lines that present the highest risk. And we've also mandated lead service line replacement, not just in the case of an action level exceedance, but for every community that does have lead service lines. And those are significant steps beyond what other states have been doing.
I have a question for whoever has that. What do you do if your house was built before 1974 about the lead paint?
So there's a couple things. With lead paint, you want to make sure it's well maintained and that's not peeling and flaking. If you have concerns about lead paint, there are state programs that if there are citizens that approach you that have that concern, we have materials that we can either provide to Oak Park or you can reference them back to my department and I'll get them over to our Healthy Homes section where there's applications if they meet certain financial need strata that different levels of services can be offered, including a lead inspection risk assessment, up into some homes, depending on financial status, we do window replacements, painting, soil removal, all those types of things. So, and I also believe, I'm looking at Leanne Stafford with Oakland County Health Department also runs a lead program and may be able to give more information on that.
Good morning, or good afternoon, it's not morning, it's been a long day. So yes, at the Oakland County Health Division, if we have a child that shows up as having an elevated lead level, then we go in with a public health nurse and also an environmental health specialist that really look at everything in that home. And they look at lead dust, they look at the paint, the year it was built, they look at fixtures, because a lot of times you might get some lead exceedance in water from the fixtures that exist in the home. And we stay with that family until we see that that lead level in that child has come down. So the one thing that I just want to add, if someone is concerned because you do have a child in the home, there's a couple ways you can have them tested. You can talk to your pediatrician or your primary care physician, or if you'll call our health department, and I'm going to give you that number here in a second, we can work on getting your child tested if they haven't been tested before, or if this is something recent, we can have them tested. So the best number and that resource, we have a nurse on call during all of our business hours, which is 8 to 5 o'clock on Monday through Friday. That number is 1-800-848-5533. And again, we have 3 nurses that are on call, and they don't just talk about lead, they have resources for all over the community that we can assist with. So.
Wow, impressive group.
Anything else?
I know a lot of people are concerned and want to go to one spot for answers, and we'll post your information on our website.
Yeah, currently on the website, we do have a page set up for lead information. A lot of the stuff we talked about today is already on there. We did talk about some of the paint-based things.
This group is proactive. Have you noticed that?
So we'll add some of the information that was talked about today on there as well. But a lot of the pamphlets that are available today here at City Hall are on our website, the public advisory, public information. It's all there. We update it constantly, and we'll continue to do so.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to make a comment on our state being first and being the most progressive and aggressive at going after the, water safety issues. I'm proud of that. I think that our state should be the first in doing that. So I'm glad to hear that there's a lot happening, not just in our community, but in communities around our state. And thank you all for the work that you do.
Bravo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will conduct a public hearing to hear comments and concerns on the following special assessment districts. 685, unpaid utility invoices. 686, unpaid miscellaneous concrete replacement invoices. 687, unpaid property blight invoices. 688, unpaid sidewalk replacement invoices. And 689, unpaid sidewalk replacement payment plan invoices. I now declare the public hearing open. Anyone who would like to speak can come on up to the mic with their issue. I welcome. Give us your name and address.
Good evening. I am Lambert Greaves, living in Hope Park here, and I'm concerned about my water bill. I get a water bill this month, which is $300 bill for $700.
I think this is the wrong. Yeah, hold that. Now, we want to hear about the water bill, but this is a different
Okay.
audience time for just a very specific thing. So don't hold on to that and come back at the end.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone, people could go and talk to the gentleman out at the tables in the hallway. If you prefer, you can come up and speak publicly. Anybody?
Good evening. My name is Alvin Madan. I'm speaking on behalf of Anita and Ashok Madan. Those are my parents. The address is 13750 Nadine Street, Oak Park, Michigan 48237, and it's in regard to Special Assessment Rule 687. So our concern is that in about, let's say, the last 30 years that my parents have lived in that home, there have never been any issues in terms of upkeep of the home. We've never received any notices. There have been no problems with our lawn or anything else on the property. In the year 2018 is when we started getting all of these notices, and they'd show up bi-weekly because we get our service every 2 weeks. We have it scheduled, and it's been that way for 15 years.
What service?
Lawn care service. So someone comes out, cuts our lawn, does the edging, trimming, whatever we need. And so we have our service every 2 weeks, and it's scheduled. They come out, they take care of it, and it's all set. Every 10 days, so after we get our lawn cut, every 10 days we're receiving a notice saying, your lawn is over this height, and if you don't finish it in the next 2 days, you're going to be fined for so-and-so amount, and we'll send somebody out to take care of the lawn. So every time we got those notices, we would tell our service, and they would come out a little early, but that's not always possible because they do other lawns, right? So they have a schedule, and they keep that schedule. Okay, and so we would go out, we would check our lawn, and in certain places, maybe there's a few little patches of our lawn that were a little bit taller than the rest, but the majority of the lawn was normal size. It was under the, I think it's 7 or 8 inches. I'm not sure, whatever the height amount was. It was on our notice at the time. And we made sure that the majority of the lawn was under that. So it was kind of concerning that they're finding that one little section that stood above the rest, and now we have a notice. And it was getting kind of unnecessary, because if every 2 weeks we're seeing a notice, you know, some people could consider that as harassment.
It sounds,
Yeah.
sounds often. Can you speak to these gentlemen here, and this will be investigated? Anything that you bring up,
Yeah.
they will investigate the issue.
Well, so one thing I want to continue with is that, so the last time that we actually received a notice, our service guy couldn't come out until the last day. They give you 2 days to get your lawn cut. He wasn't able to come out till that day. He said he would come out at 9 a.m. because that's what the city allows. You're not supposed to do lawn care service or use any of those louder things for noise reasons before 9 a.m. the people that are hired, I guess, by the city or whoever was supposed to do it, they came out at 7:30 in the morning to cut our lawn. Our neighbor from across the street came to them and said, our service guy is coming out today at 9 o'clock to do our lawns because that is a requirement. And they rudely told her to get away and they will do whatever they want. And then they did it anyway. Then they left all of the grass clippings over our lawn, killed most of it because it was a summer day, it was super hot, it dried into the lawn. And then we had to get another service to come out to, do like a lawn care service where they have to spray it to get the lawn to come back. So we had to pay over $200 to fix that. And then on top of that, we're being fined, I think it was $90-something to have someone else cut our lawn without our permission. I find that very unfair.
Right. So you will speak to the gentleman and they will look into it. And I
Okay.
appreciate your coming forward and thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jacqueline Morris. My address is 24141 Ridgedale Street, Oak Park, Michigan, 48237. This is the first time I've ever attended such a meeting, and I actually was reading your agenda, and I thought I was sent here for the wrong reason, but I understand blight is when there's something going on with your home and you want help, right? That what that is? How do you clarify blight? Based on what he just said, it does have to do with your property, right? Okay. So I got a ticket or a citation last Friday, and I thought I had it, but I left it. It had to do with my gutter falling away from the front of my house. Okay?
Is this the wrong section?
We're
Oh.
doing it at the end of this assessment.
It's
Oh, okay, so I am in the wrong spot.
in the wrong spot. So just hang on to that.
So I'm
and
like the other guy.
And the next time
There's
to
a time
come
at
up.
the end. There's a time at the end when you can.
This is for special assessments,
This is
like if you've
only a
already
certain-
been
It's
served
a
a
meeting for
notice.
only special assessments put on your taxes. So,
Okay, no, that's not it.
so it's just, don't go too far. Don't go too far. All right. Okay. Anybody else? City Clerk Ed Norris, are there any written objections to read into the record? Oh, is there no one else who wants to speak? Is there no one else who wishes to speak? No one else? Thank you.
Like a wedding.
It's like a wedding. All right. Ed reads the objections before it's closed, I believe, according to the script.
Yes, there are some exceptions that were provided to me, and I will read those at this point. For SAD 687 White, property address 13750
Mike?
His mic is on.
His mic is on.
I see the light.
Louder.
Gotta yell into your mic.
Property address 20800 Ridgedale. Sidwell number 522532201002. 4750 Stratford. Right. For unpaid utilities, 685, 23641 Clover Lawn, and 24671 Kenosha.
Is that it?
And then sidewalk replacements, SAD 688, property address 21601 Ridgedale, 14441 Lincoln, 25351 Church, Sidwell number 13750 Victoria Street, and 14460 Vernon. Those are the exceptions.
Thank you. Anybody who filed an exception, they will carefully check your objection and get back to you with what's determined. They're very, very careful with those. So I now declare the public hearing on special assessment districts closed. I'll entertain a motion to adopt Special Assessment Resolution Number 9, confirming the roles and withholding the noted temporary exceptions, and Special Assessment Resolution Number 10, setting the due date of November 15th, 2019, with penalty for the Special Assessment Districts 685 through 689. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
And moved and seconded. Roll call, please. Unless there's discussion. No, sorry, roll call.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. There are no communications or special licenses. Please look at number 11, accounting reports. Need approval for payment of invoices submitted by Garen Luca Miller, PC, for legal services in the total amount of $20,397.06.
So moved.
Second?
Seconded, discussion. Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 12, bids. This is a request to award the bid for the 2019 in-car video camera project to ComSource Incorporated of Plymouth, Michigan, for a total amount of $27,619. Is there a motion to award the bid before discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Who is going to, okay. Director Cooper is here, just appeared, to explain, are these old ones being replaced, and why are there two kinds for each?
Correct. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, City Manager. The council agenda items you have before you is correct. It's to replace the 2019 Panasonic in-car video system for 4 of our patrol vehicles. On September 4th, 2019, the 2019 Panasonic Arbitrator HD in-car video camera project was advertised and 1 bid was received. On Tuesday, September the 24th, 2019, the bid was open. The sole bidder was ComSource Incorporated of Plymouth, Michigan, with a bid of $27,619. There's currently $37,000 budgeted in the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget for this expenditure, and I'm coming before council recommending that you award the 2019 in-car video camera project to ComSource Incorporated of Plymouth, Michigan, for a total amount of $27,619, and funding is available in the general fund for this project. This is the second half of the project. We had 4 vehicles in the last fiscal year where we had the camera system replaced. The last remaining 4 that we need to replace, they're an old antiquated system. They do not have the high definition resolution, and quite honestly, it's hard to even make out particular details when you're actually looking at a lot of the in-car camera footage. So we're just trying to actually get the fleet up to date, and this is the second half of that.
Okay. Replacing the old. Are there questions or discussion? No?
Madam Mayor?
Question, yes.
So after this is completed, will all of the vehicles be up to date?
This is the second half. So once we get this bid accepted and we get those cars outfitted, then our fleet as it stands currently will have all of the HD high definition cameras installed and operational.
How long are they good for?
It depends on who you ask. We've had the first generations. I'm going to say we had those in there for probably maybe just a little shy of 10 years. So, I mean, they definitely served their purpose. We've gotten our money's worth out of them, but, you know, you get next generation stuff that comes up, there's better resolution, parts you aren't able to replace parts as readily as you would like to, and then they simply just stop making parts, so that kind of determines when you have to shift your fleet over to the next generation equipment as well.
Right. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you.
City Attorney Ebony Duff talking about a resolution declaring a 6-month moratorium on off-premise signs.
Madam Mayor and Council, thank you. I come before you this evening with a recommendation from the City Attorney's Office and the City Planning Division. As you know, the city hired a consultant to assist with drafting revisions to our sign ordinance. We've been working on that actually for the past 2 years now. We've now had a recent decision issued at the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals that affects some of the language that we're proposing with respect to our off-premise signs. We'd like to adopt a resolution declaring a 6-month moratorium on any off-premise signs, just to give our departments additional time to review the case law and ensure that we have the accurate language for our amended ordinance before we bring it before the zoning commission. So you have before you a proposed resolution, and if it meets with your approval, we're asking for a 6-month moratorium from today through April 23 of 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, questions? No. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Motion carried. City Manager Eric Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I would like to ask Deputy Director DeCoster to join me at the podium for 15A, please, sir.
Hello again. So we talked about this earlier, but this is a request to authorize the bid for the 2019 lead service replacement project M701. Plans and specifications are complete for the 2019 lead service replacement program. This project will replace private lead service lines found throughout the city. There is $100,000 budgeted in the fiscal year 18 and 19. There's currently also a $100,000 budget in fiscal year 19-20. And we are also anticipating $100,000 being budgeted in fiscal year 2021. So it is recommended that we request to advertise the 2019 lead service replacement project M701 be approved. It is further recommended that the unspent funds from fiscal year 2018-19 be carried forward to 2019-20 to bring the current funding to $200,000. Funding is available in the Water Sewer Fund.
So moved.
Second.
I think we should do it.
Discussion.
Questions or discussion? Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I recall a couple of years ago, there was a shortage with the salt and the price increased.
Are we on? We're on, wait for that. We're on A and that's B.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Hold it just for a second.
I'm looking at the wrong piece.
That's okay. Any questions about the bids for the lead water service replacement? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Motion carried. Now
Deputy
it's the rock
Director
salt.
DeCoster, if you could give an overview of 15B, please.
Sure. So the City of Oak Park Public Works Department has participated with the State of Michigan My Deal and Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network contracts for our annual salt purchases for winter maintenance for several years. This has allowed us to use some flexibility in choosing the best price option. The bids for both organizations were very close this year. The Mitten bid came in at $52.67 a ton, and the My Deal bid came in at $53.11 a ton. We submitted for 800 tons for each from the My Deal and Mitten contract, bringing the total anticipated cost to $84,624. There's $150,000 budgeted for winter maintenance supplies this budget year. It is recommended the City Council approve the bids for My Deal and Mitten for rock salt purchases. Funding is available in the major streets and local street funds.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the bids?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions?
Okay,
Yes, now it's your turn.
a couple of years ago,
We just did that one.
the price of salt increased, and we were concerned about us being able to purchase it and the cost of it. Has it went back, has the prices leveled out?
These are a little bit lower price than we've seen in the past. You know, as an economy of scale, multiple communities use these trade networks and these bidding sites. So because of the consortium that we use, we do get a better price. What we're doing today is locking in that price for 800 tons for each bid. So it locks us into that price. If we didn't lock in and we needed a heavy amount of rock salt into the year, yeah, we could see a large increase in cost. But this gives us the flexibility to order from 2 different bids, and also gives us the flexibility to adjust that. We order 800 tons, but we can take 30% lower and 30% higher on each of those bids. So we really should have enough covered for the whole year.
Thank you.
Some cities I've heard are using beet juice, liquid.
We
Can you
did.
Speak to that?
Yeah, a number of years ago, we tried that. It wasn't as successful for us, and there's a lot of startup costs with that, tanks and filtration and mixing and things. So we did attempt it a couple years ago. From what I understand, it was not as successful as we thought it would be. Some communities do it, and they've invested heavily in the tanks and the containers and the mixing and the loaders to do that, but we are currently not using beet juice.
Got it. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, 15C, we have our Finance Director, Sandra Crawford. And boy, the timeliness of this right away
Right.
like that. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager Tungate. Before you are the first quarter budget amendments to the fiscal year 1920, and the purpose of this presentation is to highlight the fiscal year to date revenues and expenditures, and to report on the general fund through the first quarter. And basically, through the first quarter, revenues and expenditures should represent about 25% of the budget. Total revenues for the first quarter totaled approximately $14.2 million, representing approximately 66% of the annual budget. And overall, revenues are on track with the budget with the following items noted. Property tax revenues, which are billed July 1st and payable without penalty by September 3rd, 2019, at the end of the first quarter were approximately 91% of the taxes have been paid, which is great. Any unpaid real property taxes will be purchased by Oakland County in May of 2020. Property tax revenue is the primary reason that the overall revenues are at 66% to date. Also, our intergovernmental revenues, which is our state revenue sharing, we received about 6 bi-monthly payments, and the first quarter reflects that there was no fiscal payments for 2019 because the August 31st payment that we received was included in part of the fiscal year of 18-19. But we will continue to receive our payments on October 31st, December 31st, February 28th, April 30th, and June 30th. And then the August 31st of the 2020 will be related to the current year, 1920. We estimate at the budget time that the annual revenues that will be included are about $3,654,948 that we should get. The fines and forfeiture revenues received from the 45 District Court is budgeted for a total of $1.9 million, which approximately 24% has been received today, which is $455,754 in this first quarter. The revenues that we received are used to offset a portions of the court's operating costs. The expenditures for the first quarter total approximately $4.8 million, representing about 22% of the budget. And overall, the expenditures for the budgets are on track with the following notes. And basically, I'm noting on any departments that are over our projected of 25%. Council budget is about 26% for the first quarter, and that's due to the community promotion expenditure is at 100% of its budget. But the overall net budget for the department is in line with the current annual projections. The prosecuting attorney's budget is about 33% of their budget due to legal services and supplies. The overall net budget for the department is in line with the current annual projections. The engineering department is about 27% of their budget due to salary and wages, but the overall net budget for the department is in line with the current annual projections. Building maintenance is about 28%, is slightly over the 25% guideline due to the telephone utility expenditures. The outdoor activities for special events are about 43%, and the outdoor activities are about 43%, and the special events are at about 51% of their budget. But the department is still currently in line with their budget due to the cost being seasonal in nature, and that a significant part of their budget includes summer programming. And the swimming pool facilities department is about 47% of their budget due to the cost being seasonal as well. And then the non-departmental, which is the transfers, that's primarily transfers to the majority of the funds where it takes place, is about 25.2% of the budget. All in all, the unaudited fiscal year end of 18-19 surplus is attributed to various projects not being completed. There are rollover requests in the next item I have to present for you to amend the 19-20 fiscal year budget for those funds. But overall, the general fund operations are in line with the annual budget, and the projected fund balance remains at the targeted level of 18% of our annual expenditures.
Yay.
Any questions? Sorry.
So then,
You don't get nearly as excited about the general fund balance as I do.
okay. Is there a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, Director Crawford, 15D, please.
Okay, 15D is the request for approval of resolution of authorizing the aforementioned here budget amendments. And basically, our budget was adopted on May 20th, 2019, and it's effective for July 1st through June 30th of 2020. The budget is adopted at the department level, which is in accordance with the State Budget Act. Budget amendments are to be completed throughout the fiscal year in order to reflect the most current information available relative to the revenues and expenditures. Budget amendments that have a positive or negative impact on fund balance or change the department totals require council's approval. The proposed amendments are based on actual and projected activity to date. The unaudited beginning fund balance of this fiscal year is at $4,332,205. We have already amended the budget for $18,150 that came before you. I believe it was in a couple of meetings ago for public safety. And now the change in fund balance for the general fund is we're requesting $329,000 to be used of that. But I project that we will end the fiscal year of June 30th, 2020, maintaining a fund balance of approximately $3,985,055. The following amendments are being recommended, and for the general fund, all of the amendments that are recommended are basically rollovers from the budget of the fiscal year of 18-19 to complete the various projects. The overall net of this amendment allows for the fiscal year 18-19 surplus to complete the projects from fiscal year 18-19, and it keeps the general fund balance on an annual basis with a slight increase of our projected fund balance of $3,894,821 when the budget was adopted. So basically, what I'm outlining with these budget amendments is that we want to finish the projects that need to be completed from the 18-19 year, and that the surplus that we have will not only be used for the fund balance for those items to complete those projects, but then also the budget that we had amended in a couple of meetings ago for the $18,150 will be absorbed in that surplus, and so that we projected in May that we were going to end with a fund balance of $3.8 million, and now I'm projecting that we will end approximately 3.9. So with all our budget amendments, we're still in line and looking good with respect to being 18% of our expenditures and our revenues for the city, for the general fund. Now, with the special revenue funds, a lot of those requests that were outlined on there are budget rollovers as well. A lot of the projects were not completed by the fiscal year end, and so the overall net of those amendments will allow the projects to be completed, and it will allow the use of the fund balance, which was what we had projected to use in the 18-19 fiscal year and in the 19-20 fiscal year. Also, for the case flow assistance fund, that budget, we're asking that that amount of money be rolled over to help complete the projects that was used for the court renovations. Also, for the capital projects fund, we're asking that the municipal complex construction fund, that rollover the balance be used to complete the funds that we allowed, the capital related items that were not done last year that will be completed in this fiscal year, and then close that fund out. The municipal building construction fund, we're asking that those monies be rolled over as well to complete the court renovation projects that will be completed by the end of June 2020. Also, for the enterprise fund, which is the water and sewer fund, there were projects that were not completed by the fiscal year of 18-19, and so we're asking that those monies that were budgeted in the 18-19 year be rolled over to this fiscal year so that those projects can be completed as well. So in essence, the proposed budget amendments, they have an impact on the general fund balance, and it will keep the estimated fund balance at approximately 18% of their annual expenditures. And the amendments to the all other funds keeps the fund balance at the target ranges and are done in compliance with the state of Michigan requirements and guidelines. And so the recommended action I'm asking is for approval of the resolution to authorize the budget amendments, number 2020, number 1.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions?
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you.
Do we need a roll call? Yes. Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Colton, come on up and do our 15E for us, please.
Good evening, everyone. Under the direction of City Manager Tungate, I'm here to give a quick presentation, if it could get up on the screen there, on how we can all walk, bike, and drive safely on 9 Mile Road in light of the many changes because of the 9 Mile redesign. So I think probably most people know what the 9 Mile redesign is at this point. It is a public improvement project on 9 Mile Road between McLean, which is just east of Coolidge, all the way to our eastern border with Ferndale. It is bringing a lot of new amenities to 9 Mile Road, and it is wrapping up pretty soon. So some of the amenities, number one is the trailhead. That's all the way at the western end of it. That is sort of the, the marker of the beginning of the project. Of course, there's the road diet, which took most of 9 Mile from 4 or 5 lanes down to 2 or 3 lanes. There's the bike lanes. There are pedestrian islands, which can be seen in the above picture on that slide. There's the new back and angle parking, which I will get into towards the end of this presentation. The 2 new pocket parks, one at Sherman and one at Seneca. The one pictured here is from Sherman. And, of course, the linear park on the south side of the road as well. So with the addition of these pedestrian and cyclist facilities, not only in the city of Oak Park, but in Metro Detroit in general, we here at the city of Oak Park want to make sure that all of the users of our roads are as safe and secure as possible. And before I really even dive in deep here, remember, the road is safest when everybody follows the law and looks out for one another. And just a quick shout out to SEMCOG, the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. They provided a lot of the information in this presentation and in the other education materials that we are using. So the first part of Walk, Bike, Drive Safe is walk. That's pedestrians. There are a couple new facilities for them. There are the pedestrian islands. We hope that people start using them more, and we encourage people who are walking as a mode of transportation to cross the street at marked crosswalks and intersections. Definitely watch out for turning vehicles. The kind of rule of thumb is look left, right, left. Wait for the walk signal before crossing where it's appropriate, and always stay visible. Wear reflective gear at night and watch out for blind spots. Number two, is the second part is bike, so that's your cyclists. They have a lot of new amenities now on 9 Mile. So use the bike lanes when available. We put them there for a reason. We hope that cyclists get a lot of use out of them. Obey all traffic signs and signals. So essentially, if you are riding in the street, in the bike lane as a cyclist, you are riding in the street, and you should basically treat yourself as if you are a member of motor traffic. So obey all traffic signs and signals. Ride with traffic, not against it. We have bike lanes going both ways, east and west. So stay in the correct bike lane. Don't ride against traffic. Use hand signals when turning. Ride in a straight line and give yourself at least 3 feet of room between you and vehicles. That really shouldn't be much of a problem on 9 Mile because there's quite a buffer there. And of course, use lights and reflective gear at night. And then lastly is motorists. So I think the biggest thing that can keep everybody a lot safer is for motorists to slow down and obey the speed limit. We are not changing the speed limit on 9 Mile Road. It is 35. It will remain 35. But really, if you looked, people were driving more like 45 or 50. We hope that the 9 Mile redesign and the road diet will slow some people down. There are studies saying that road diets tend to do just that. So slow down, obey the speed limit. Keep an eye out for other users of the road. That is pedestrians and cyclists. You never know. It could be scooters one day here in Oak Park too. But keep an eye out for other users of the road. Yield to pedestrians and cyclists when turning. And lastly, give at least 3 feet between your vehicle and cyclists. It's actually the law now. There is a new law, a state law as of last year, I believe, that says you must give at least 3 feet between your vehicle and cyclists. So I want to dive into the bike lanes a little bit. We've been hearing a lot about the bike lanes, how to use them. It is really important to know that the bike lanes are meant for cyclists only. It is illegal for motorists to drive in the bike lane at all, and we strongly would discourage pedestrians, walkers to be in the bike lanes as too. It's really, it can be dangerous for everybody. And then people have been asking also about the green paint. What does the green paint mean? You can see in this, the previous slide, the green paint here. This is not in Oak Park, but ours are going to look pretty similar to this. So the green paint, that denotes conflict points. So conflict points are where there could be potential conflict between motorists and cyclists. So these are at places like stoplights, bus stops, intersections. So they are very important for a number of reasons. Number one, they raise awareness to potential conflict areas in general. They increase the visibility of bike lanes and cyclists in general. They make cyclist movements more predictable, or at least they're supposed to. They guide cyclists through the intersection in a straight and direct path. And they reinforce that cyclists have a priority over turning vehicles or vehicles entering the roadway. Remember, safety is everyone's responsibility. As I said at the beginning, the road is the safest when we all look out for each other. So lastly, I wanted to touch on the back-end angle parking. We have been hearing a lot about this. It is confusing for folks, and we understand that. So the new back-end angle parking seen on 9 Mile Road. It uses the same process and motions as parallel parking, which we all know, we're taught that in driver's ed, but it actually requires just one less step. It's really as easy as 1, 2, 3, and it allows for more parking spaces than parallel parking. But instead of going on and on about this, Benny and myself actually created a video starring none other than Officer Cook. So if you could, Benny, if you could throw that video up there right now. It actually just got finished this afternoon.
How many takes did it take?
With the addition of back-in angle parking on 9 Mile Road as part of the 9 Mile Redesign project, the City of Oak Park wants to make sure that all of our community's residents and visitors become experts on how to utilize this type of parking safely and correctly. Back-in angle parking uses the same process and motions as parallel parking, but is much safer and allows for the creation of more parking spaces. Getting into a back-in angle parking space is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Signal. When you spot an open parking space, immediately turn on your right turn signals to indicate that you will be slowing down to back into that space. Motorists behind the vehicle trying to park should be sure to give the person in front of them plenty of space to maneuver. Remember, be patient and be courteous. Step 2. Stop. After signaling, stop just ahead of the space like you would when parallel parking. Next, turn your steering wheel to the right to prepare yourself for backing in. Be sure to check your mirrors for pedestrians and cyclists. Step 3. Reverse. Carefully reverse into the parking spot, making sure to pull back far enough so that you're fully in the space and the front end of your vehicle isn't sticking out into traffic. And there it is. It's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. With the front end of your vehicle facing the road and the back end facing the curb, it's not only safer for pulling out of your parking space, but it's also safer for loading and unloading. To learn more about back-in angle parking and the 9 Mile Redesign project, visit the website shown here. Thanks for watching.
Star of stage and
Yeah,
screen.
star of the videos
right
back
here,
there.
Yeah.
If I could get the presentation back up. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak on this issue. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't give a plug to the 9 Mile Redesign Kickoff event that we are having next Tuesday, October 29th from 3 to 7 p.m. It actually is also Oak Park's 74th birthday that day. There are going to be activities all up and down 9 Mile Road, and the ribbon cutting is at the new Seneca Pocket Park at 6 p.m., so we hope that everyone can join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Wow, yeah.
Colton, thank you so much. Great presentation, and Detective Cook, great job with the demonstration. Thank you. Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening.
Thank you. Next, we have call to the audience, and now it's time, if you came up earlier during the other kind, and we sent you back, now we want you to come back up and tell us what your concern is. Give us your name and address. Sure.
Sorry, nobody's going home until everybody speaks.
Yeah.
We're going to lock the door.
Yeah.
Lambert Greaves, one more time. My concern, my water bill is too high, and I'm going to get in a social security check, and the water bill is high, the light bill is high, taxes, everything that's coming in at the same time. How much that is? The water bill is $700. I came paid one time from my social security check. What do I do?
Would you like to speak?
Thank you, and appreciate your concerns. Actually, with regards to your water bill, I don't know your specific situation, but that does sound a little bit high, and it may be because you have a leak or something like that. So we don't have our normal staff here for this, but if you could speak to Deputy Director DeCosta right behind you, he's the gentleman who gave the presentation earlier, he can direct you accordingly. And in cases like that, where you have a leak or something's going on that's irregular, we will send someone out to check for you to see if there is something going on.
Okay.
So if you will speak to him, he will provide more information to you.
Okay, thank you.
You come on up here, you have 3 minutes, give us your name and address.
Time already started.
He's kidding. I don't know.
Motorist, I live at 24141 Ridgedale Street, Oak Park,
gotta put a
Michigan,
chair in.
48237. I just got my first ticket from Oak Park. I've lived here since 2003. It has to do with my gutter coming away from the front of my house. I've been aware of this problem. It's due to fascia board rotting in the back, so the little gutter nails don't stick in. In the process of trying to do that, I am a senior. I take care of a disabled granddaughter. I've been to OSHA for help, and all of this happened before I got my ticket, which I thought, how weird this happened. So when I applied for weatherization, I did get approved for it, but it was deferred, delayed because there are water issues in the basement, foundation leaks. That has to be fixed before they'll address the weatherization. I'm a qualified, but it's got to be other stuff. Okay. So then I do the home improvement loan, denied for that because my house is underwater. I would have qualified had I had more equity in my home. Then I went to RAP, and that's what I was going to tell that gentleman. He should check RAP because they do things with water. I got denied there because I am in the poverty level, but I'm at 195 instead of 150. And then I had issues with how their little calculation worked because they use a 30-day versus 1 month for your income calculation. And it shot my income up well over than what I get. And I did tell them, how are you denying me? And the math is wrong. But either way, that's not why I'm here. So I'm here now today. The AAA-B for seniors, they're closing shop because I used to get free lawn care. As of September 30th, that stopped. So now I got to pay for my lawn service. Right now, I'm only asking or looking for contractors or something that'll come give me an estimate on fixing this gutter issue. And when the lady wrote me the ticket, she said she gave me to October 28th. Well, I thought that's ironic. It is October 18th. Would you give me 10 days? But she did, and I get it. So that's why when I called and talked to OSHA again, when I got approved for weatherization, they recommended I come to city council meeting, which I've never done, and that's why I thought I'm in the wrong spot. When I read your agenda, I thought, when do I get up here?
You're in the right spot.
Yeah.
Talk to Director Barrett, the second guy.
Director
And I'm
Barrett.
sorry you have gone through so much to try and get this fixed,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, thank you for saying that. But I've enjoyed living in Oak Park, and I've never had an issue with you all. But then that comes to mind, I'm hearing him talking about his grass tickets. Well, right now, my grass needs to be cut, but I just found out the area for aging, the AAB, they ran out of money, so they stopped the service as of September 30th, but they didn't tell nobody. So right now, my grass is out of whack, but I've already called somebody to do it. So that's kind of alarming, though, that you might send somebody to cut it for me and then bill me? Wow.
Yeah. Speak. Yeah.
Oh, so I will get a
So many
warning?
warnings before that
Well, I got a
happens, yeah.
2-day setup.
think
Somebody's
just
coming
one.
in 2 days. But I just,
I think it's
again,
at least
I found this very enlightening to be here. I've never come, but wow.
Thank you for coming
But
and
okay.
talk to Director Barrett.
They come out, they take pictures.
Anyone else? Welcome, Cheryl Weiss.
Hi, Cheryl Weiss, 24101 Norwood. I'm here actually on behalf of the Oak Park Youth Assistance Board of Directors. I want to share with the community that we're having a wonderful event on Saturday, November 2nd. We're calling it A-Top for A Taste of Oak Park. We're going to have restaurants give out samples. We're going to have, there are about 22 different ones. We're inviting businesses to come and get a table, no vendor fee, it's free. Come in, give out information, give out samples, have little activities. We got today a donation from Glory Supermarket. We're going to have cookie decorating. We have 200 cookies for kids and 3 14-pound tubs of frosting, so come on out, have a good time. We have a donation of a bounce house, we have a photo booth, so we're hoping to get the high school and middle school to participate and entertain us, so it's going to be great. Come on out and join us.
So November 2nd,
November
where
2nd,
and what time?
noon to 6.
From
at
where?
the-
3 to
noon
6?
At the Oak Park High School.
Oak Park High School.
Yep. We'll be in the auditorium if we get performances, which we should. We're going to be in the cafeteria, we're going to be in the hallway, and we're going to be in the gym. So we're
Wow.
taking over the high school. Please come. We also are going to have, for the first time, a spirit wear order. We're going to have Oak Park T-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies that you will be able to order, and baseball caps and knit caps. So come on and let's order our spirit wear and show our Oak Park pride. One last thing I want to share, not related to this, just a request, and I've said it before, I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. I'm not going away with this. We need to provide something for our teens in this community.
Amen.
There would be no me involved in this city if there was not a teen volunteer program and if there was not a place where I felt welcome. I'm not saying we have to do a teen volunteer program, although you know that's where my heart is, but the kids need somewhere to go. I'd love to see some kind of work between the school district and the city. They need us more than they think they do, more than we think they do. They need us. They need to be welcome. In 10 to 15 years, they're going to be looking to buy a home. If we don't make them feel welcome now, they will not invest here later. None of us are getting any younger. We need people to replace us, and it's got to be them. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ed Bass, 24250 Kipling, Oak Park. What's happening to the brewery in 11 Mile? I'm not sure about the name.
What's that? In process.
Okay, still there?
Everything.
Opening?
Everything that you, anything to do with economic development always takes longer than you think.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah. We'll pass that along. Thank you. Anyone else? Is that it? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Thank you all for coming out, and everybody have a good night. And one more thing. Got it. One more thing. Tonight is the last city council meeting of substance that we're going to have our dear friend way over there on the other side of the table, Ken Rich, as one of our members, because he is not running for re-election. And, well, last one of substance, if I recall. No, I take it all back. Have a good night, everybody.
We have one more. We have one more.
Saying goodbye to him just a little soon, but it's always nice.
Thank you for coming out, everyone. Please be safe. Good night.
Thank you. Councilmember Weiss.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to make sure everyone is aware, obviously fall is in the air. Halloween is right around the corner. And if you didn't already know, our annual Boo Bash has been changed from the traditional date of October 31st, Halloween, when we normally have it, to the Saturday prior. So Boo Bash will take place this coming Saturday, October 26th, from 5 to 8 in the community center. So we hope everyone comes out. There'll be lots of activities, free candy. Many community organizations are participating in that. And there is lots of fun to be had by all. And because that date was changed, we're hoping that more of our residents will go trick-or-treating on October 31st. To encourage that, we just had our first annual beautification contest. And the Recreation Commission went out and looked at nominations from across the city of scary and fun decorated homes. And we will also be presenting those awards to the winners of the beautification contest on October 26th at the Boo Bash. So thank you so much to everyone who nominated someone, nominated themselves, or just put up decorations to make our neighborhoods look more fun, welcoming, and safe for trick-or-treating. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Ken Rich.
Thank you. Good night.
I want to tell you about an event that I went to today. An organization called the Assistance League of Southwest Michigan came to Einstein School and provided an amazing giveaway for every child at Einstein School. Betty is showing some pictures. Beautiful coats. Each child got a big bin, and they got to find a coat their size, try it on, get a hat to match, get mittens to match. They got 2 shirts and a pair of pants. There was you got to check yourself out in the mirror in your new coat. It was a wonderful thing. There were toothbrushes to pick, toiletry kits, books. The kids just were delighted. This is an organization, Assistance League, that is 100% volunteer run. These are some people I taught with in Warren in a previous life who are members of the organization and volunteers. 100% volunteers. They've got a used clothing store in Rochester that helps fund this. They do incredible fundraisers all through the year. They do this for 6 schools in the fall. I think they had 2 in Pontiac, a couple in Detroit, Oak Park got one, and they provide every child in the school with supplies and warm clothing and things to wear. It is an amazing group, and it's probably the best volunteer organization I've ever seen. So if you can give back to the Assistance League, they're doing good work for us. Thank you, and good night.
Since I spoke up there, I think he wrote it down. Is this the best number to get you on? I can give you a better number. That's the home phone number, so I say that. Oh, man. Thank you. We're going right now. Yeah.